Welcome to the debate. Our focus today is on the preseason program unfolding at the West Coast Eagles. It's being driven by their new high-performance manager, Phil Merriman. Now, after a really devastating one-win season, Merriman has implemented what people are calling a turbocharged program. It's a dramatic, immediate surge in both physical and mental load, all designed to transform a young and, well, a struggling squad.
And that brings us to our central question. Is this immediate, really aggressive increase the best and most sustainable way to build fitness and resilience? Or does it present an unwarranted risk of overexertion and injury?
And I'll be arguing that this aggressive approach is a clear, absolutely necessary response to past failures. It's about building the physical and just as importantly, the cultural capacity they need.
Whereas I'll be coming at it from a different angle. While I agree change is needed, I'm going to examine the potential trade-offs and the pretty significant risks that come with such a rapid increase in demand. We really have to question whether this much, this fast, undermines their long-term durability.
Well, to understand the aggression, you have to look at the problem Merriman inherited. I mean, this team was routinely fading after halftime. They couldn't match intensity, and statistically, they were dead last in the competition for contested possession differential. Merriman's philosophy, more means more, is basically the medicine they needed. We're seeing a measurable 35% surge in sprint loads and high-speed running and a 10% jump in the overall training load. This isn't recklessness. It's an aggressive building phase so that, by the middle of the season, the game is comfortable for them. It's a non-negotiable cultural reset.
That's an interesting way to frame it. But I have to say, while the need to lift capacity is undeniable, a 35% immediate jump in high-intensity metrics for a mostly young playing group, it carries an inherent and, frankly, scientifically measurable risk. When you push that hard, that fast, the connective tissues, the tendons, the ligaments, they just can't adapt as quickly as the aerobic engine. And we also have to consider the psychological load. Merriman himself said that during one staggering 18.5-kilometer session, 3/4 of the group initially thought, no, I can't do that. That kind of immediate, overwhelming stress is a heavy burden to place on developing athletes.
Losing the ball and spending massive energy just chasing. So, to fix that, Merriman brought in dedicated contest training days. But those drills only work if players have the physical capacity to execute them under fatigue. The higher running loads directly enable that tactical competence. And we are seeing results. A mid-season recruit like Tom McCarthy has been transformed, described now as a beast. It proves the system is working.
That's a compelling point, but I'm just not convinced that the methods used to achieve this psychological hardening are physiologically sound. Take, for example, the periodic banning of ice baths. The idea is, I guess, to build physical resilience by forcing the body to manage inflammation on its own.
Right.
To get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Sure, but while the intent might be to build mental toughness, you're neglecting essential recovery protocols. That just increases the likelihood of soft tissue issues. Ice baths are proven anti-inflammatories. When you've just subjected players to a 35% sprint load increase, removing that immediate recovery tool even sometimes seems to compromise the very physical durability you're trying to build.
I think the long-term mental benefits outweigh those short-term concerns, especially when it's controlled. Let's go back to that 18.5-kilometer session. It was broken up by football quizzes, right? That was specifically designed to test their cognitive function when they were physically depleted. It builds trust in their own ability to think clearly when they're exhausted, and trust in their teammates going through the same thing. Club staff are already seeing a tangible shift in energy. This is about more than fitness. It's about forging a new identity.
Sorry, I just don't buy that it's sustainable in the long run. Is building mental trust by immediately pushing players past their perceived limits a robust foundation? Or is it just a short-term adrenaline boost? For young athletes like Elijah Schuett and Joby Shanahan, consistency and a more measured progressive load might offer better, more durable development. These kinds of shock tactics, they generate immediate buzz, yes, but they risk burnout or even worse, a negative association with training if injuries start to pile up.
Ultimately, Merriman's program is demanding an immediate capacity build, which is what was needed given their performance. The high demands signal total alignment across the club, And they show the players are committed to a very uncomfortable but necessary path to fix their weaknesses.
I'll acknowledge that intensity was clearly needed, but the true measure of this whole turbocharged approach will be its ability to produce durability across an entire season, not just some preseason fitness gains. We still have to wait and see if the sheer scale of this load increase proves optimal for minimizing the long-term risk for this young list.
And that difficult balance, the need for high performance versus the critical challenge of managing physical risk in elite sport, that remains the crucial tension illuminated by this whole situation.